What's going on, YouTube subscribers? It's your boy Arachnid Soul, intellectual, voracious, and passionate about gaming as always. Joined today by Fight Night's Finest, the SoFit commentator. His information is available in the description below. Fight Night, what's going on?
What's going on, gamers? It's your boy FightNightsFinest, the SoFit commentator, here with Arachnid Soul, looking at the little dungeon defenders, seeing as what kind of character you got here, man? Let's talk about
this is Dungeon Defenders on the PC. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab this Series EV character. This is a DLC character, does not exist on the consoles, does not exist on the smartphones. I've never used her before. And basically the reason I have Fight Night's Finest joining us is because Fight Night's Finest does a lot of boxing on his channel, but he's also a massive League of Legends, yes, he's a massive League of Legends fan, easy for me to say. And this game has so many similarities. Here you see me designing the character look, picking the colors and some of the stuff. So Fight Night, what this character is, this, from what I can understand, is like a range character, as opposed to the close combat melee characters I like to go in with. I've never used her before. I'm not exactly sure what her powers are. Gonna give her a name here, and I hate to do it. Fight Night's Finest, but unfortunately this is gonna be a little reference to a certain video game that I like a lot. I'm not gonna go too in depth as to why I'm gonna give her this name, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't experienced certain things in the story. Anyway, Fight Night, what kind of character do you usually pick when you play League of Legends?
When I play League of Legends, I usually go for AD bruises. I like playing with the top lane. So I usually use characters that are melee and pretty much all up in your face, all in characters. Characters that can do a lot of damage, but also take a lot of damage as well.
Alright, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much the same way. I'm not that great on League of Legends. I have played a little bit of Dota, and I actually tried the DC Universe MOBA that came out, multiplayer online battle arena game. So here you see her running around. This is where you go to the forage chest, and you pick your supplies, you upgrade your armor, and you pick your pets. There you see there's a bunch of people from Team Fortress 2. Those also came in the DLC. She's such a low level now that I'm not actually going to upgrade anything. There you see me using her little gun. It looks like she shoots something out of her hand. Like I said, she's a ranged character. And we're going to go ahead right here. There you see the Pokemon DLC level that I have not played yet, but it had such high reviews. User created DLC because it is a PC game, that I went ahead and got it. And for anyone curious, I am playing this with the Xbox 360 / PlayStation 3 / PC hybrid controller. So basically, Fight Night, you've got your 3 lanes here. It's very similar. The difference is you don't have the creeps, or whatever they call them in League of Legends. What do they call them?
Some people refer to them as creeps, some people refer to them as minions. The thing that I'm noticing that's a huge difference here is that you can't really level up your characters outside of being inside the game. Everybody starts at level 1 and maxes out at 18. And the fact that this is 3D, it does show quite a difference.
Well, also in this game, like I've said before, this isn't a game where you've got to start leveling up your character every time you play. This is a game where if I level her up here, she will... And let's take a look at what her little thing is here. This is her little special ability, the tower that she sets out pre-match. It looks like some kind of beam or something, which is kind of awesome. I'm trying to figure out a good position here. Basically, you've got one tower here that the 3 people who come out of will try to attack. There's no support towers in this game, even though there are support towers in the upcoming sequel to this game. But basically, if you level up your character in this game, she's always going to be that level, or he's always going to be that level when you pick them again. You'll start with the same weapons. You can buy new weapons. You can trade weapons with your friends. It's very similar to League of Legends in a lot of ways, but it's also a real-time strategy game. It's also a tower defense game. And I think if I can figure out where to put these. See, like if the light's red, you can't put them down, so you gotta wait for a place where the light's green. You see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you see the red bar, or the red half of the diamond and the blue half of the diamond. The blue half signifies the amount of mana that I can hold at this time, and obviously I can't put down any stronger towers because I can't hold enough money to make those towers. And what you're going to see here is the little goblins coming out. There's all sorts of different enemies. I'm playing this on the easiest setting. This is pretty much the tutorial stage. And I'm just doing this to see what these lasers are going to do when the little goblins walk in there.
Well, yeah, this is very different, actually. I can see where you said the similarities are, having the mana and being able to put down spells in certain spots. There are quite a few differences, though, but I see you got some good accuracy right there. What's that, a lock-on?
Well, yeah, I mean, the characters do have lock-ons, and actually in the second one, you can get a little bit more extra damage done for getting headshots. So I cleared that first wave. Keep in mind, this is a 4-player game. You can either play versus against other humans, or you can play 4-player co-op. When you play 4-player co-op, though, pre-match, it's very similar to when you would play any of the other MOBA games, League of Legends or StarCraft or anything like that. People will pick the characters based on the team strategy and also based on what other people picked. I mean, some of these characters work very well with other characters. Like, for example, I'm not sure about her, but there's a monk in this game that puts, like, little glowing orbs over other people's towers and strengthens them or adds, like, little combo things. There's all sorts of little cool things you can figure out here, and I'm just putting these down because, like I said, this is the only thing I can put down right now. I mean, does this look like a game that you think you would actually give a try to?
It definitely looks like a game I'll give a try to. For me, I'll probably want to have a controller. I don't think I'll play this game with a mouse and keyboard. But the things that I'm noticing right now is you mentioned team comp earlier, and team composition in any game is very important, whether it's a sports game like Madden or if you have a really fast-paced offense, you want to have some quick, fast acceleration burst type receivers, maybe a halfback that has the ability to catch, and halfback that does have some good fast speed and some good hands. So team composition is a very important thing in most games, and I'm glad to see that element is carried over in Dungeon Defenders.
Right, and like you see, I'm putting more lasers down. Once you hit that crystal, that signifies that everyone's ready to start the round. If you have 4 players, once one person hits the crystal, it starts like a 1-minute countdown clock, and usually other people are ready up at that point and hit the crystal as well, and if they don't, the round starts. You see some of the archers coming out here, and the thing about the archers are, you're trying to protect that crystal. Most of these enemies have to get close and do melee damage to the crystal, whereas the archers just have to get maybe to the top of the steps, and then they start shooting that because they can do the range damage. I set a couple of towers up on the other side because in the next round, maybe 2 rounds from now, there's some bigger monsters that come out of the top level, and you can actually, well, here you see me leveling up. One bit of advice I'd give to anyone playing this game is you don't want to waste your level up on either your character speed, your character health, your character defense, or anything like that. You want to spend all of your level up stuff on your towers, because when you talk about leveling up health or leveling up speed or defense or offense, you do all of that through leveling up your armor, and it's the cheapest way to do it, and it's the best way to do it. It's a rookie mistake on this game to put too much money into that stuff when you level up. And let me ask you something else. I mean, there's so many awesome different characters in this game, and if you could see the map, the overhead map that I haven't brought up, you would see that there's the 3 lanes. And in League of Legends, it's very similar to this in terms of the lanes. Obviously, you don't have the monsters in the jungle where you can attack the monsters and get little extra benefits from the team. Which lane do you usually pick? I know you touched on it earlier, but which lane do you usually pick in League of Legends?
I usually like to go to the top lane. It's a lane where it's basically a one-on-one the entire time. You get the top lane is one of the most important lanes because you usually have a tank up there, and the tank is going to be the guy who's going to start the team fights. He's going to initiate the team fights. He's going to pill for the other characters in order to keep them safe. So, for example, your ADC or your attack damage carry is a range character 90% of the time, and they can go in there and clean things up and do the most damage on the team. And as the tank, it's your job to basically not only kind of direct traffic, but also to determine when's a good time to jump in, when's a good time to start a team fight, and even possibly catch people out. And you kind of taking care. It's kind of like being a parent. You're taking care of your youngins, you're taking care of your kids, and that's the main reason I was coming to the topic.
Alright, you see I just used her little secondary, little slamming fist into the ground thing. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the different characters and the different abilities. Basically, in this character, you have your in this game, you have your range class characters, you have your melee characters, which is the apprentice, or as a lot of people call him, the knight. He's very tanky. He can go into like hordes of these things and not take a lot of damage. The apprentice is a ranged character. Then you've got your monk, and your monk is basically a support class. He's not that strong. He needs to stay behind the tankier characters. And then you've also got the huntress, who looks a bit like Zelda, or looks like a bit like Link rather, and she's also a ranged character. One of the things in this game is you really don't see people doing the support farming, because on this game, like I said, you can only pick up so much mana at a time. And the other thing is you can drop mana and you can actually gift it to other people, so other people can pick it up if they need to either build a tower, repair a tower, upgrade a tower, or go to the forge box, which is near the crystal at the top, and they can actually switch armor, or they can actually switch characters if they want to mid-game on here.
Mm-hmm. So I see you setting up a lot of these beams, and I've also seen you setting up beams in some weird places. Now, when you set these beams down, is this because of something that you're noticing with the way the minions are moving, or is it more like you're just trying to test things out at this point?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Yes, I am trying to test things out because I've never used these beams before. If you see any of those doors, it tells you who's coming out of the doors on the next round. And once you learn the special abilities of those characters, you can plan a little bit more. But the goal of all of these characters is to get to the gem at the top. So basically, they're going to take the shortest route to the gem, and I know that there's guys coming from the bottom lane, the center lane, and the top lane. They're all going up that stairwell, and there's two kind of thoughts when you play this game with people. Some people build completely around the entrances, even though you can't attack people near those little golden orbs, or the purple orbs around the door. And some people like to build higher up towards the crystal. There you see the overhead map and you see the lanes. I'm personally a person who likes to build higher up, because some of the towers can actually be destroyed and some of the towers are only effective for so many hits. So I like to have the towers higher up so they take less hits, and meanwhile I send the tankier guys down to handle business. Here you see some of the bigger guys coming out of the side, and that's the reason. These guys are pretty tanky, as you see. They're taking a lot of damage. You've got to have something set up there because they're very, they're relatively quick. They can get to the crystal. They do a lot of damage when they get there. And I'm just remembering there's another guy coming out of the other side where I didn't set up a tower. One thing you can do with certain enemies is you can get behind them and distract them like I have here. So this guy will now turn around. This does not work with every enemy in the game. It does not work in every circumstance, which is why you really need to learn these different character classes.
So we're seeing here, you talked about being able to distract people and being able to do things that are different. The main question that I have, that I'm seeing going on here, is it's taking you a while to take down those stone soldiers, or those little minions walking towards your crystal. Why haven't you put anything towards you doing more damage instead of everything just on these traps and beams that you're setting up?
Well, like I said, this character is not a tanky character. She's a melee character, and sometimes she gets caught up in, much like League of Legends, when you die there's a countdown clock, and especially when you're playing alone and you die, that is horrible. So your first focus needs to be setting up these towers so you've got something actively out there that can twofold, that can help protect the crystal in case you die, and also can attack without you getting too close to people. As you can see, some of these towers are wearing down. I can actually get some of these gems and upgrade some of these towers. I haven't seen monsters attacking these towers yet, but the different monsters kind of react differently to the towers. Those big guys that come out of the top, one of the things they like to do is break down the towers and let the smaller guys through. And that's actually another strategy you can use to distract them, sometimes setting up dummy towers that are there for no purpose, just so they'll attack them. I actually saw I had like a volleyball net or some other tower I could set up, but I guess I didn't notice it, so I'm just going to continue setting this stuff up. I think, though, you as a League of Legends character, much like when you played some of the shooting games, when you played Loadout, and just because you're so good at the first-person shooters and third-person shooters, you kind of were natural and were better than some people who had played the game a lot. I think if somebody comes over to this from playing Dota 2 or playing League of Legends, especially, you know, someone like you who puts so much time into it, you probably within a half hour, and this is a really hard game to master that will maybe take years, but you probably within a half hour would be better than a lot of the other people that I've played this with who put a lot of time into this. I hope eventually you do actually give this game a shot.
I definitely will decide to give this game a shot whenever I guess I have some more free time on my hands. This definitely seems like a game that I like to play. Now, I've noticed you said that the objective is to protect that crystal, but how do you win the game on your side?
Okay, so basically you see in the upper right where it says wave, there's a certain amount of waves on every level. Your whole objective is to survive through all of the waves without the crystal going down. So we've made it through 4 of the 5 waves. We're about to start wave 5 of 5, which is the final wave. And depending on the difficulty of the level, the characters come out, like you'd see the same characters, but if it's on medium, they'd come out, and instead of being green, they'll be red, or they'll be orange. And you can tell from their character how tanky they are and how much damage they'll do. Also, when you get farther into this game, instead of protecting 1 crystal, sometimes you have to protect 2 crystals or 3. Or if you play the DLC, sometimes, I don't know, maybe there's 6 crystals you have to protect. And you really have to use teamwork. You talk on the headsets a lot, and you try to coordinate. And it really is important that you always keep that strategy in mind of protecting the crystal at all costs.
Right. Okay, so that's something different. When you play online against like other people, so you basically have a team that's defending and a team that's attacking, correct?
Well, actually, when you play online, it becomes more like almost like a third-person shooter where it's either every man for himself. I think there are some 2-on-2 team battles. There might actually be some crystal defense battles in the DLC, but the thing is, usually people play co-op on this game. I mean, this game has such a long game life. You can sit here and play this game for years. It's 2014 now. I've been playing this game since, God, whenever it came out, 2010, 2011. I bought it on the cell phone, I bought it on the PlayStation 3, I've now bought it on the computer. And as you see, I just beat the level. So that was on easy. I mean, this game gets extremely challenging. There's more types of enemies, there's boss battles, there's different levels, there's all types of DLC and different weapons. You customize every weapon and every piece of armor you get any way you want. So you can take a crossbow, and if you think that, you know, you just want to be like a ranged character, you can upgrade that crossbow. Whereas if you want to be melee, you get a sword, you upgrade that, you upgrade certain traits. As you see, I just upgraded my character again. I don't know, I think we're about done here. Is there anything you want to add in closing?
Anybody who hasn't tried Dungeon Defenders and is looking for a game that requires a lot of different components and understanding, I think this is definitely the type of game for you. Games like this really do take a lot of time and energy that you have to put into them. And if you're one of those people who just like to play one game, or one of those people looking for a challenge mentally, this is definitely the game for you.
Once again, it's been your boy, Arachnid Soul, intellectual, voracious, and passionate about Dungeon Defenders today. As always, joined by FightNightsFinest. His information is in the description, or follow him on Twitter, FNFinest, at Twitter, or follow me on Twitter, at Arachnid Soul. and we'll catch you guys and girls later.